everyone, welcome to the first episode that deals with the skills. The skills such as listening, reading, writing, speaking, note-taking and presentation are very essential for the beginners of English language. Keeping this importance in mind, we will discuss the skills in 3 episodes. The first episode will deal with the skills of listening, speaking, reading and writing. In the second episode, we will talk about the skills of note-taking and correcting common errors in English. And in the third episode, we will talk about the presentation skills, choosing the correct word out of alternate choice and rewriting sentences as directed. Here in the first episode, we will discuss the importance of the skills of listening, speaking, reading and writing for a beginner of English language. We will also talk about the various methods to achieve all the above mentioned skills and the types of sentences in English grammar along with the examples. I am Sakshi Mandwal and our subject expert for today's topic is Ms. Sabah Tariq, lecturer for English at the University of Jizan, Saudi Arabia. After watching this episode, the student will be able to understand the different types of skills, to understand the importance of the skills of listening, speaking, reading and writing, to expand and improve on all the above mentioned skills for learning English correctly. Any language is difficult as well as easy. Language serves many purposes. Absence of language is mere dearth of communication. The role that language plays is immense since time embarked. Identified as the need of the hour, the 4 necessities in language are commonly known as the 4 skills. Reading, writing, listening and speaking play a vital role in any language learning quest. The 4 skills are the pinnacles of language. They are separate yet bound together with an inseparable bond. Reading. I've traveled the world twice over, met the famous, saints and sinners, poets and artists, kings and queens, old stars and hopeful beginners. I've been where no one's been before, learned secrets from writers and cooks, all with reading. Anonymous. Reading is a fun way to knowledge hunt. We read or see innumerable quotes based on reading. How far is it true? It is true indeed, reading brings wisdom. Through reading, we learn a lot and it is the most prominent language skill. But the fact of making a reading habit or being good at it is the question here. For now, students, adults and even educators read very less. It is a well-known fact that when there were no televisions, computers or other forms of entertainment, reading was a primary leisure activity amongst the educated lot. People would spend hours reading books and travel to lands far away or enjoy love, cherish victorious moments and live history in their minds. The tragedy is that with time, people have lost their skill and passion to read. Reading has declined among every group of people in today's world of technology and entertainment. There are many other exciting and thrilling options available aside from books, and that is a shame because reading offers a productive approach to improving language, vocabulary and word power. For example, when you possess rich vocabulary, you listen better as you understand more. Then you can write better with more words to choose from. Obviously, you can speak better because of your intense word power. It is advisable to indulge in at least half an hour of reading a day to keep abreast of the various styles of writing, update one's knowledge and learn new vocabulary. Thus, the need to develop a habit to read is very important. Well, the skills will hopefully jump in automatically once the strong, genuine habit has been established. The best and easy approach is, however, to make a small effort to read a piece a day. You will surely succeed. Ways to inculcate reading habit. To acquire the habit of reading is to construct for yourself a refuge from almost all the miseries of life. W. Somerset Maugham. Somewhere after lose weight, stop procrastinating and fall in love, read more is one of the top goals that many people set for themselves. And rightly so, a good book can be hugely satisfying, can teach you about things beyond your daily horizons and can create characters so vivid you feel as if you really know them. If reading is a habit you'd like to get into, there are a number of ways to cultivate it. First, realize that reading is highly enjoyable if you have a good book. If you have a lousy book or an extremely difficult one and you're forcing yourself through it, it will seem like a chore. If this happens for several days in a row, consider abandoning the book and finding one that you'll really love. Other than that, try these tips to cultivate a lifetime reading habit. Set times. You should have a few set times during every day when you'll read for at least 5 to 10 minutes. These are times that you will read no matter what, triggers that happen each day. For example, make it a habit to read during breakfast and lunch and even dinner if you eat alone. Always carry a book. Wherever you go, take a book with you. When you leave the house, you should always make sure to have your driver's license, your keys and your book at a minimum. Make a list. Keep a list of all the great books you want to read. You can keep this in your journal, in a pocket notebook, on your personal homepage, on your personal wiki, wherever. Tech trick. Create a Gmail account for your book list and email the address every time you hear about a good book. Now your inbox will be your reading list. When you read a book, file it under done. If you want, you can even reply to the message to the same address with the notes about the book, and those will be in the same conversation thread. So now your Gmail account is your reading log too. Find a quiet place. Find a place in your home where you can sit in a comfortable chair. Don't lay down unless you're going to sleep, and curl up with a good book without interruptions. Reduce television or internet. If you really want to read more, try cutting back on TV or internet consumption. This may be difficult for many people. Still, every minute you reduce of internet or TV, you could use for reading. This could create hours of book reading time. Keep a log. Similar to the reading list, this log should have not only the title and author of the books you read, but the dates you start and finish them if possible. Even better, put a note next to each with your thoughts about the book. It is extremely satisfying to go back over the log after a couple of months to see all the great books you've read. Go to used bookshops. My favorite place to go is a discount bookstore where I drop off all my old books. I usually take a couple of boxes of books and get a big discount on used books I find in the store. I typically spend only a couple of dollars for a dozen or more books. So although I read a lot, books aren't a major expense. And it is very fun to browse through the new books people have donated. Make your trip to a used bookstore a regular thing. Have a library day. Even cheaper than a used bookshop is a library, of course. Make it a weekly trip. Read fun and compelling books. Find books that really grip you and keep you going. Even if they aren't literary masterpieces, they make you want to read, and that's the goal here. After you have cultivated the reading habit, you can move on to more difficult stuff. But for now, go for the fun, gripping stuff. Stephen King, John Grisham, Tom Clancy, Robert Ludlum, Nora Roberts, Sue Grafton, Dan Brown, all those popular authors are popular for a reason. They tell great stories. Other stuff you might like? Vonnegut, William Gibson, Douglas Adams, Nick Hornby, Trevanian, Anne Patchett, Terry Pratchett, Terry McMillan, F. Scott Fitzgerald, all excellent storytellers. Make it pleasurable. Make your reading time your favorite time of the day. Have some good tea or coffee while you read, or another kind of treat. Get into a comfortable chair with a good blanket. Read during sunrise or sunset or at the beach. Blog it. One of the best ways to form a habit is to put it on your blog. If you don't have one, create one. It's free. Have your family go there and give you book suggestions and comment on the ones you're reading. It keeps you accountable for your goals. Set a high goal. Tell yourself that you want to read 50 books this year or some other number like that. Then set about trying to accomplish it. Just be sure you're still enjoying the reading though. Don't make it a rushed chore. Have a reading hour or reading day. If you turn off the TV or internet in the evening, you could have a set hour, perhaps just after dinner, when you and maybe all the members of your family read each night. Or you could do a reading day when you and again your other family members, if you can get them to join you, read for practically the whole day. It's super fun. Writing. Writing is a gem to pick. A person with good writing skills is always victorious at expressing oneself. Writing skill is the evidence of your intellectual level or the level of your expression. Writing process is taught in schools and colleges, but do you practice it in reality, or do you start to write as soon as the question is read? Pre-writing opens the doors to effective writing, where you brainstorm almost anything under the topic or theme. You find a topic, narrow it and consider the purpose, audience as well as the form of writing. You are not concerned with creating whole sentences or paragraphs at this point. Rather, you should aim at defining an idea and getting it rolling. Then we write our first draft, which is a compilation of our random thoughts. This is where our words form sentences and paragraphs. The third step is revision. Revision means seeing again. Here you refine the ideas and their compositions. Revising consists of 3 activities: rereading the rough draft, sharing the rough draft in a writing group with anyone, and revising on basis of feedback. You can add or substitute thoughts and words. The same can be done with deleting and moving your words in the draft. Editing is the next big thing. The cleaning up process, where the clutter is cleared and ideas are allowed to shine, happens here. We tend to put the piece of writing into its final form, and you fine-tune your work by focusing on correct punctuation, capitalization, grammar, usage and paragraphing. The goal here is to make the writing optimally readable. The last is publishing your final piece. Each step is interchangeable and can be done as many times as you dare or till your writing perfects. I always tell my students to work out at least 3 drafts. So this is with writing. Easy? It would turn out simply simple if you make it a habit and practice like you practice your favorite song or dance. A tip: avoid electronic English. U, that is alphabet U for you, that is YOU. You need to be able to write well if you want to be successful. Regardless of the type of work you do, writing is a part of it. You write emails, proposals and project plans, and you may write blog posts, sales copy and other marketing materials. Ineffective and poor writing can negatively impact your work, reputation and ability to serve your clients. Here are more reasons you need to write. Effective writing is one of the best ways to promote yourself. Writing well can make people quicker to trust you. The way you write tells a lot about who you are as a person. When you write something down, it becomes more actionable than an idea in your head. How you write tells others about your intelligence and expertise. The better you are at writing, the more effective your marketing copy will be. Effective writing can be persuasive and entice action. The way you write can help others understand more and be able to form their own questions. Improving your writing skills may take some time, but it will benefit you for the rest of your life. Not only will you present a more professional and intellectual side of yourself, but you can also win more business. And you'll spend less time explaining and clarifying and more time working and earning. Here are some ways to get started. Spell check and grammar check everything. Keep it short and simple. Write appropriately for the format. Read more books, magazines, articles and blogs. Start with an outline and expand from there. Take an effective writing class. Stop using abbreviations. Be consistent with styles. Proofread or have someone to do it for you. Use a thesaurus. Avoid being too formal or too casual. Know your audience. Walk away for a while, then review again. Practice writing in different formats. Read what you wrote out loud. Listening. Listening is yet another necessary in language. The more efficient a listener you are, the more successful and satisfied you will be. In the words of Jennings, we find that listening is not merely hearing. It is a state of receptivity that permits understanding of what is heard and grants the listener full partnership in the communication process. We need to develop a keen interest in making ourselves better ears. The fact that we listen more than our ears and we listen far more than the sound is very true. As a member in a society, listening is one important skill to possess, as good listening is an integral part of communication process. A good listener shows readiness and possesses an ability to manipulate the sound into words and their contextual meaning. Then the good listener relates given meanings to other experiences and he shares responsibility with the speaker. Academically, listening skills plays a very vital role in the teaching-learning cycle. A student learns better when he can listen better. A teacher is also in need of good listening skills. All the way, listening should be enhanced in your life as to be a greater speaker. The attitude of the listener is another stepping stone to the achieving the skill. Importance of listening as a skill and ways to improve listening skills. The most basic of all human needs is the need to understand and be understood. The best way to understand people is to listen to them. Ralph G. Nichols. It can be argued that listening is every bit as important as speaking. Everyone desires to be heard and understood, and we reward people who provide us with those opportunities with our trust and loyalty. Here are 5 ways to increasing our listening abilities. First, be fully in the moment. Have you ever been speaking to someone and found that they are distracted by something and not really listening to you? You probably thought this was annoying, frustrating, and disrespectful. At that point, you may have even become angry or shut the conversation down. When someone is speaking, it is vitally important to be fully present and in the moment with them. If something else is on your mind, like a call you have to make or a text you need to answer, let them know. Do what you need to do, and when you are finished, let them know you are ready to listen. When listening, pay attention not only to the words but the tone of voice, facial expressions and body language. This will give you information that will be as important as the words themselves. Second, put yourself in their shoes. Whether you agree with the speaker or even have an interest in what they have to say, what they are saying is important to them. Imagine yourself in that situation, wanting only to have someone listen to them. When they are speaking, make an effort to think of where they are coming from and why. Imagine what their life is like and what struggles they might be facing. People will appreciate that you made the effort to understand and really heard them. Pick up key points and let the speaker know you did. Many people have trouble focusing on what someone is saying, especially if they speak for longer than a minute or so. It is easy for our attention to drift to something else that we might find more interesting. If that's the case, try to pick up a few key points in the conversation. After they finish talking, let them know that you heard them by mentioning the key points you heard them say and ask them to clarify anything that you did not understand. You will be forgiven for not being able to follow the whole conversation if the person talking believes that you made an honest effort. Practice active listening. Most people are thinking of how they are going to reply when someone is talking. Instead of doing that, try to focus completely on what the person is saying. Pretend that you will be tested on how much of what they were saying you heard and understood. A good exercise to practice is to sit down with a family member or a good friend and practice simply by giving feedback to them of what you heard them say. You will notice that it gets much easier to focus on their words when you aren't worrying about how you will respond. Develop curiosity, an open mind and a desire for continuous growth. People who are naturally curious see conversations as learning opportunities. They're always looking to discover or learn something new and see everyone they talk to as having the potential to teach them something. They are open to the idea that their own way of seeing things may not be the only or necessarily the best way and don't feel the need to always defend their own point of view or way of seeing the world. These people are continuously looking for new learning opportunities and talking on new challenges. You will recognize these people as the ones who are signing up for courses, volunteering and trying new experiences throughout their lives. For them, listening to others becomes an easy and natural way to continue on their self-development journey. Speaking. Speaking is all special. This skill is as important as the others. When you have words read, ideas written and thoughts heard, all you need is to express your speaking skill. What you speak will determine the expressiveness in you. Speaking has many masks. Public, friendly or academic contexts are few from the lot. Each context has the same need for the skill. Statistics reveal that when you talk, you use about 5 syllables per second and there are more than 40 different speech sounds. Thus, every time you talk, your audience must catch all the 5 syllables per second out of the air, must recognize the 40 sounds in them, must translate the syllables into words, and finally, they must translate the words into thoughts. You got to help them succeed in doing so. If you slur or muffle sounds or project the sounds weakly, the listener will miss a lot, failing you as a good speaker. Therefore, proper pronunciation, Diction and building a good vocabulary should be on your prioritized list. Tip: avoid one-word answers or queries. As a student, the skills of language will make you academically sound, and the miracle it will have when you enter the world as an adult is magical. That is a guarantee, always. Mind you, the four skills never stand out as individual areas, but they form a chain where you break one ring of the chain and the whole chain would collapse. In today's competitive world, your command over a language and even more, the level of your English can determine your life. Thus, it is important for you to understand the four skills and give it a consistent effort. The result will be rewarding. Ways to improve your speaking skills. Never talk over people. This demonstrates a real lack of respect. By talking over someone, what you're basically saying is, I don't care what you're saying. What I have to say is more important. Don't finish other people's sentences. I used to do this a lot, thinking I was helpfully finishing people's sentences for them. Wrong. Research has shown by doing this, you are disempowering the other person because you are taking control of the conversation. So bite your tongue. Paraphrase. If you want to show that you have really understood someone, then paraphrasing is a great tool. All you need to do is repeat back to someone what they have just said before you comment yourself. Here's an example. So Barney, what I'm hearing is that results are the #1 objective for you right now, and we need to find some fast solutions for you. Listen actively. Focus on active listening instead of passive listening. The difference is that active listening means you engage and respond to the other person based on what they have said. Passive listening is simply the act of listening with no response. Maintain an eye contact. By looking the other person in the eye, you are proving that you are interested in what they are saying. This also keeps you focused and less distracted.
Hello everyone, we are going to talk about the four important components of communication skills: reading, writing, speaking and listening. These four components are intricately related to each other, and the less casual approach of one would impact on others. So if we want to enhance our communication skills, we have to be very sure about our reading, and reading should be compensated with your listening and speaking skills. So these all four skills are very much related to each other. Reading enhances our ability to comprehend any subject matter. Writing, of course, it is actually the end process through which we just put forward our opinion in a comprehensible manner. And listening, these are the important. Listening as a skill is very, very important so far as enhancing your ability to reason and logic. Now, there are so many ways, there are so many barriers in those fields, especially in listening. We do not tend to listen to one who is, who appears to be inferior, who does not have, good subject knowledge, and who has a problem with his speaking. So we definitely overlook those person, and in doing so, we just miss out it. So there are factors inside us as well, like inferiority complex or superiority complex, which impact our ability to listen. If we are suffering from inferiority complex, we would not be able to concentrate upon the words and the sentences a speaker is speaking. And if we are suffering from superiority complex, where we would find that the speaker is inferior, so there is no point in listening to him or her. So we definitely be overlooking so many facts. So these are the barriers we have to come over as students of English. Then the second thing is that reading. What should be the material that we should read for enhancing our communication skills? Okay, newspaper articles. There are so many things that are there in the newspaper and magazines which may not interest you. So you should be looking for those things which interest you, because without interest, you cannot really sustain your concentration and focus on reading materials. The third important thing is speaking. So speaking has, so many times it happens that a person knows a lot about the subject, but he is not able to deliver in public, or interact with a person. So again, those complexes play a very vital role: inferiority complex and superiority complex. And in addition to that, sometimes it happens that a speaker is not prepared well on the subjects. He is not able to put the points in proper sequence. So it also, it creates a barrier in terms of practicing this skill of speaking. You have to have a very concrete idea about the subject matter that you want to deliver, you want to interact on, so that you may not really be in a want of ideas or the words. Sometimes words also play a very important role. If you are lacking in word vocabulary, you may not be able to put across the right kind of feeling or emotion that you actually want to convey to the students. So you have to have all those processes with you going on side by side. And of course, I would like to mention one thing, that reading impacts writing, writing impacts listening, and listening impacts reading. So it is a circle. One of the component, if it is not working properly for you, you would really suffer in terms of communication skills. So communication skills is not only about reading, writing, and speaking. Listening is also very important in it, important factor in it. So I would urge my students to work on all those components judiciously, so that you would be in a better position to display your communication skills and be victorious in all the ways,
Conclusion. Thus, in this first episode of Skills, we talked about the importance and need to learn all the 4 skills for the learners of English language. We also talked about the important ways of inculcating the skills of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. We hope that you enjoyed this session. In the second episode, we will talk about the skills of note-taking and correcting the common errors in English and rewriting them. In the third episode of Skills, we will talk about the skill of presentation, choosing the correct word out of alternate choices, and rewriting the sentences as directed. Till then, goodbye and take care.
Thank you.